Hello everyone, welcome to KITCH MORE. In today's lesson, we'll explore how to draw inferences, understand an author's purpose, identify the target audience, and analyze information to uncover deeper meaning in text. The first thing that we will talk about in this lesson is all about drawing inferences. Have you ever read a story and guessed what might happen next? Or watched a movie and figured out the main character's secret? That's called drawing inferences. Today, we'll uncover the magic of understanding texts and what makes them meaningful. Are you ready to dive in? I'm sure you are. Let's go! Before we really dive into today's lesson, let's warm up our minds. I'm going to show you 3 short scenes or videos. For each one, I want you to think about what might happen next. Use your imagination and think about the clues in the scene. After each video, feel free to leave your guesses in the comments section below and we'll discuss the answers at the end of the video. Ready? Let's begin! Did you like the first video? In this scene, the grandma is crying and wiping her tears, which suggests that she is feeling sad. By drawing an inference, we can guess that she might have experienced the loss of someone, or there could be another reason like a painful memory or something upsetting that made her emotional. Have you ever cried before? What made you sad or what made you cry? Write in the comment section below. Now let's proceed to the second scene. Did you like the video? Well, in that scene, the man and woman are rushing down the stairs and the woman looks at her watch, which shows that they are probably running late. From these clues, we can infer that they might be heading to an event or activity and are trying to make it on time. How about you? Have you ever been late before? What did you do after that? Comment down below. And now we are on the last scene, which is the scene 3. Did you like the video? Well, in this video, the couple is entering their new apartment, which suggests they are moving into a new home. By making an inference, we can guess they are starting a new chapter in their lives, feeling excited or ready to settle in. Have you ever experienced this before? Maybe settling in a new house with your family. Well, that's a good experience, isn't it? That's right. Okay, let us now proceed. After watching the video scenes, you likely made some guesses about the characters and events based on the clues provided, even though not everything was explicitly stated. This is the same skill we use when reading texts. Drawing inferences in a text means figuring out things that aren't directly stated in the text by using clues from the words and combining them with what we already know or what is called our knowledge. Just like in the video, we can use these inferences to better understand the deeper meaning of what we read. Now that we know the definition of drawing inference, let's now tackle the steps to drawing inferences. How can we draw an inference? Here are the steps that we need to follow. First, look for clues in the text. Pay attention to words or details that give hints about something not said directly. This can be in descriptions, actions, or conversations. Next, the second one is think about what you already know. Use what you already know from your own experiences to understand the text better. This helps you make sense of the clues. And the third step is combine this to make a logical guess. Bring together the clues and your prior knowledge to form a well-reasoned inference or conclusion. This guess should make sense based on the information you have. And this time, let's proceed to the examples of drawing an inference. First one we have here, the classroom was silent and everyone had their heads down, writing quickly. What can we infer from this? It can be inferred that they might be taking a test. In this example, the clues silent, heads down, and writing quickly suggest that something serious is happening. And based on what we know about school, it's likely that the students are taking a test. Second example, the kitchen smelled of soy sauce and garlic, and there were noodles in the wok. What could we infer from this? Yes, someone might be cooking pancit. Yummy! This is the inference. In this example, the clues soy sauce, garlic, and noodles in the wok suggest that a Filipino dish is being prepared. And based on what we know about common Filipino meals, it's likely that pancit is being cooked. Let's have our third example. The house was decorated with colorful lights, and there was a big tree in the living room with shiny ornaments. What can we infer? It's likely that the family is celebrating Christmas. In this example, the clues colorful lights, big tree, and shiny ornaments suggest that the house is decorated for a holiday celebration. And based on what we know about Christmas traditions, it's likely that they are celebrating Christmas. Now that we've learned how to draw inferences from a text, let's explore another important skill, understanding the author's purpose. What is author's purpose? The author's purpose is the reason why an author writes a particular text. It's the goal or intention behind the writing. Authors write for different reasons, and the purpose can vary depending on the type of text. There are generally 4 main purposes for writing. So what are the types of author's purpose? We have first, to inform. The author provides facts or teaches something. Then, to entertain. The author creates content to entertain the readers. Third, to persuade. The author aims to convince the reader to agree with a viewpoint or take action. And then the fourth one, to describe. The author creates a vivid picture in the reader's mind. So now let's tackle each type of author's purpose. Let's start with to inform. So, the author provides facts or teaches something if the author's purpose is to inform. When writing to inform, the vocabulary is clear and easy to understand, using simple words to explain facts or details. The sentence structure is straightforward with short, clear sentences that focus on providing information. The style is factual and objective, without any opinions or emotions. The tone is neutral, meaning it doesn't try to make you feel a certain way, but just gives you the information you need to understand the topic. Here is an example of a paragraph that shows the author's purpose, which is to inform. Climate change is a serious global issue that is affecting the planet in many ways. Human activities like burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and pollution are contributing to the increase in greenhouse gases, which trap heat in the atmosphere and cause temperatures to rise. This results in more extreme weather events such as hurricanes, droughts, and heat waves, and is causing glaciers to melt and sea levels to rise. These changes threaten coastal communities, wildlife, and ecosystems around the world. To combat climate change, many countries are working to reduce emissions and switch to cleaner, renewable energy sources. However, experts warn the urgent action is needed to prevent further damage and protect the planet for future generations. This article is an example of writing to inform because it shares clear facts about climate change without trying to make you feel a certain way or persuade you. The words are simple, like global issue and greenhouse gases, which help explain the topic. The sentences are easy to understand, giving information in a simple order: causes, effects, and solutions. The tone is neutral, just giving facts to help you learn about the issue. Next, let's proceed to the second type, which is to entertain. The author creates content to entertain the readers. When writing to entertain, the vocabulary is often fun and exciting, using words that create a lively or interesting mood. The sentences structure can be varied, with some sentences long and others short to keep the reader's attention. The style is creative and imaginative, filled with details and stories. The tone can be light, funny, dramatic, or emotional depending on the type of entertainment. Here is an example of a text to entertain. Sally skipped down the street, her bright red shoes making a clicking sound on the pavement. She twirled around, imagining herself as a famous dancer, and pretended to leap over puddles like a superhero. Suddenly, she spotted a puppy with big floppy ears and ran to pet it, laughing as the puppy playfully jumped on her. Sally's day was filled with fun and excitement, and she couldn't wait to see what adventure would come next. This short story is an example of writing to entertain because it focuses on fun and imaginative activities. The words like twirled, superhero, and puppy make the story lively and interesting. The sentences are playful, describing exciting things Sally does, such as pretending to be a dancer and playing with a puppy. The tone is light-hearted and fun, aiming to make the reader enjoy the story and imagine the adventures along with Sally. Let's now come to the next type, which is to persuade. The author aims to convince the reader to agree with a viewpoint or take action. When writing to persuade, the vocabulary is often strong and convincing, using words that try to influence the reader's opinion or feelings. The sentence structure can include strong statements and questions to make the reader think. The style is focused on making an argument or convincing the reader to agree with the point of view. The tone is confident, determined, and sometimes emotional, aiming to persuade the reader to take action or agree with the writer. Here is an example of a text which has the purpose to persuade. You should start recycling today. It's simple and helps reduce the amount of trash that ends up in the landfills. By recycling, we can protect the environment and make sure future generations have a cleaner planet. Imagine a world where our oceans are free of plastic and our air is cleaner. It's easy to get started and every little bit counts. This paragraph is an example of writing to persuade because it encourages readers to take action by recycling. The words like reduce, protect, and cleaner planet are strong and convincing, meant to change the reader's behavior. The sentences are structured to highlight the importance of recycling and its positive effects. The tone is confident and urging, trying to persuade the reader to start recycling to help the environment. Our next author's purpose is to describe. The author creates a vivid picture in the reader's mind. The vocabulary uses detailed, specific words, and the sentence structure is it uses longer sentences with lots of description. The style is focused on giving a clear image with sensory details, while the tone is neutral without strong feelings. Let's take up this example. The park was quiet, with a soft rustling of leaves in the breeze. Tall trees aligned the paths, their branches stretching high into the sky, casting long shadows across the ground. The smell of fresh grass mixed with the scent of blooming flowers, creating a peaceful atmosphere. Birds chirped with the treetops, adding a melody to the calm setting. This paragraph is an example of writing to describe because it provides detailed images of the park. Words like quiet, tall trees, blooming flowers, and chirped help the reader visualize the peaceful setting. The sentences are longer, filled with sensory details about what the park looks and sounds like. The tone is neutral and descriptive, simply giving the reader a vivid picture of the park without trying to evoke any specific emotions or persuade them. Now that we've discussed the author's purpose, let's move on to understanding the target audience. What is target audience? Target audience refers to the specific group of people a writer, speaker, or creator wants to reach with their message. Now, there are categories of target audience, namely hypothetical versus real, experts versus lay people, managerial versus rank and file. Let's tackle them one by one. Hypothetical versus real. By definition, hypothetical audiences are imagined readers, often used in practice writing to consider how an audience might respond. Real audiences are actual people who interact with the text. For example, a student writes an essay imagining they are addressing a group of superheroes about teamwork, and that is hypothetical. In contrast, a real audience could be their classmates reading the essay to learn about teamwork. Next, we have expert versus lay people. By definition, we have experts have specialized knowledge on the topic, requiring detailed and technical explanations, while lay people are general readers who need simple, clear language. For example, a scientific article explaining climate change to researchers or experts uses technical terms like carbon sequestration. Meanwhile, an article for students or lay people might say, planting trees helps absorb carbon dioxide. Next, let us have managerial versus rank and file. By definition, managerial audiences are leaders or decision makers who want strategic insights or big picture ideas. Rank and file audiences are everyday individuals needing clear, step-by-step instructions. For example, a guide for school principals, which is considered managerial, explains how to implement a new teaching strategies for teachers. A guide for teachers or rank and file gives detailed lesson plans and classroom activities. Now that we've discussed how identifying the target audience helps us understand the way a text is written, let's move on to analyzing textual evidence. So, what is textual evidence? Textual evidence is the specific details, examples, or quotes taken directly from a text to support an idea, answer, or argument. And there are methods of using textual evidence. First, we have quoting. Second is paraphrasing. And the third one is summarizing. Let's discuss them one by one. First is the method, which is called quoting. By definition, it means copying the exact words from the text and putting them in quotation marks. For example, the article states, melting polar ice caps are causing sea levels to rise at an alarming rate. When are we going to use quoting? When the exact wording is important to your explanation. Then the next method is called paraphrasing. It means restating the information from the text in your own words. For example, The article explains that as the polar ice caps melt, sea levels are rising quickly and posing risks to coastal areas. When are you going to use this? When you want to simplify or clarify the original text. The last method is called summarizing. It means condensing the main ideas of a larger section of text into a brief statement. For example, the text discusses how climate change leads to rising sea levels, stronger storms, and more frequent heat waves, all of which have serious global impacts. When do you use it? When you need to highlight the main point without including too many details. Now let's move on to how are we going to analyze a textual evidence? So here are the steps. First, introduce the evidence. Second, present the evidence. Then, explain the evidence. And lastly, connect to the argument. First, introduce the evidence. This is the first part where you set the stage for the evidence you're going to present. It involves explaining what the topic is about and why it's important to support your argument with evidence. You might introduce the source of your evidence, like a report, article, or expert, to give context to the information that follows. For example, global warming is one of the biggest challenges the world faces today. Scientists have been studying its effects on the environment, and there are many pieces of evidence that show how human activities are contributing to it. After you have introduced the evidence, you are now going to present the evidence. In this step, you provide the actual evidence that supports your argument. You can present the evidence in different ways, such as quoting, paraphrasing, or summarizing. Quoting means using the exact words from a source. Paraphrasing means putting the information into your own words, while summarizing involves giving a brief overview of the important points. For example, in presenting the evidence, one clear piece of evidence comes from a report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, which states the planet's average temperature has risen by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the late 19th century. After you have presented the evidence, you are now going to explain the evidence. This step is where you explain what the evidence means. You clarify how the information supports your argument and provide further details about the significance of evidence. You might describe how the evidence connects to the issue you're discussing and why it's important to understand. So for example, we have, this increase in temperature may seem small, but it has significant effects on the environment. A rise in temperature causes glaciers to melt, sea levels to rise, and weather patterns to change. These changes can lead to more frequent natural disasters like floods, droughts, and wildfires. Now that you have done the three, you are now going to connect the argument. In this final step, you'd make it clear how the evidence you've presented proves or supports your argument. You explain how the evidence connects to the point you're trying to make, and you use it to strengthen your position on the issue. This part ties everything together. Example of connecting to the argument is, this evidence helps prove that global warming is real and happening right now. Human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels, are the main causes of this temperature rise. If we don't take action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the planet will continue to warm, causing even more damage to the environment and way of life. Today, we explored how to draw inferences, understand the author's purpose, identify target audiences, analyze real-world issues, and textual evidence. Remember, reading is not just about words, it's about understanding that lies beneath them. Okay, quiz time. Let's test your understanding of today's lesson. On the next slides, you will be answering questions by choosing the letter of the correct answer. You will be given 5 seconds to decide which letter is your answer. Ready? Let's go! Great job, everyone! You now have learned about drawing inferences, author's purpose, target audience, and textual evidence. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. Till our next lesson, bye!